Our crappy culture. So here's something that I feel actually has a level of profundity to it. The Little House on the Prairie, the author's name, Laura Ingalls Wilder. I'm sure some of you may know her from old reruns of the Little House on the Prairie TV show. But she wrote a series of books that were a memoir of the way west. Her father was kind of a ne'er-do-well, really. He took them all out west, and they lived at one point they lived in a little dugout house, and then they had the Little House on the Prairie. And I don't know how many there are, 8 or 10 books that are apparently, I read one of them. I read the first one of them, and it was very well written, incredibly descriptive. And her name has been on a prestigious children's book award, the Wilder Award for Children's Book. That name has now been removed by the American Library Association because in these books, they were published back in the 30s, I think. She talks about the Indians. She talks about blacks with what today would be considered insensitivity. She's writing in her time. She did, in fact, herself rescind some of it. At one point, she said something like there were no people there were only Indians. And she said that she herself said, no, that was the wrong way to put that. There are no settlers. They are only Indians. She changed it. And so the American Library Association says that Wilder's work includes expressions of stereotypical attitudes inconsistent with the organization's core values of inclusiveness, integrity, and respect and responsiveness. And they said the author's legacy is complex and not universally embraced. And God forbid, as an author, you should not be universally embraced. I mean, if you are an author, if you are telling anything like the truth, if you have any kind of vision at all, you're not going to be universally embraced. But let's for a minute just accept the idea that attitudes were different then. The life, there's one scene in one of the Little House on the Prairie books where these women are sitting there by themselves and these naked Indians come in, and it's terrifying. They were terrified, and people did get killed out there, and so they were scared. But let's just say that the attitudes change. We understand that. But this is part of our history. And part of what leftism does is it disconnects us from our past. And our past is, the past, we're on a continuum. We're not here. We didn't just drop out of here with all our ideas. We got our ideas from the past. They came, they worked, they evolved. I hope they got better. I hope they got purified. But you don't cut your supply line off from those ideas by ditching everybody who doesn't live in your moment. It's this prejudice against the past. It's a form of bigotry. We are only holding this position here for the future. We're part of this continuum. That is the way culture works. That is the way advancement works. Listen, I've said this before. I will say it again. There are people today who have their names in airports and statues. And one day, when the science is clearer and everybody can see what abortion is, those statues are going to be torn down. There are going to be people out there going, Nancy Pelosi, are you kidding me? You named a road after this woman who supported abortion? Are you joking? Same people who are tearing down statues of Robert E. Lee. We respect the past because we are the products of the past, and everything that happened there, good and bad, created us as we are. And we hope that we learned from the bad things, and we hope that we added on to the good things. But Laura Ingalls Wilder was a wonderful writer who supplied an incredibly in-depth and vivid vision of what it was like to settle the West. And you don't take her name off anything. You don't take her name off anything. You respect her. You can say, you can talk about the fact that her time was different, that the attitudes changed. But that's part of how you learn, is by looking back at the past and seeing how you've changed, not by telling the past to be silent. Just an incredibly embarrassing, stupid, bigoted thing for librarians to do. There are way, way too many left-wing librarians who really need to get a little bit of diversity. Have you ever heard of diversity? They get a little bit of diversity around those librarians. All right, that's the end of our show. We're done. I'm Andrew Klavan. This is the Andrew Klavan Show. Tomorrow, who we got tomorrow?
Sebastian Gorka.
Oh, Gorka's back. He should be on fire, that guy. That should be really entertaining. Be there then. We'll see you then. Bye. The Andrew Klavan Show is produced by Robert Sterling. Executive producer, Jeremy Boring. Senior producer, Jonathan Hay. Our supervising producer is Mathis Glover. And our technical producer is Austin Stevens. Edited by Emily Jai. Audio is mixed by Mike Cormina. Hair and makeup is by Jesua Alvera. The Andrew Klavan Show is a Daily Wire Forward Publishing production. Copyright Forward Publishing 2018.